Hello everybody, this is Jonathan, and today I'll be talking about the Kernel console in Helen OS. So basically, you guys may be asking, what is the Kernel console? Well, it is a debugging tool that is used by developers. Basically, debugging basically means to be able to find errors and to be able to solve these errors and to troubleshoot these sort of errors within the system and to be able to find out what the bugs is within the system and how to be able to solve it. So as you guys can see on a Google search, debugging is a process of finding and fixing errors or bugs in the source code of any software. So that's what debugging is, and this allows you to do that within the kernel console, as there'll be many utilities within it that will allow you to do some debugging. So this is mostly used for developers, and is only available for the nightly build. So we have to install nightly build in order to use it. You guys can enable it by pressing the F12 key or typing in the console keycon. You guys can also type down continue, which will bring you back to the desktop environment if you guys want to go back there. So yeah, that's basically it really. There'll be many utilities within the kernel console that'll be very useful for you as a developer. Now I don't know what each of these commands do, but I do know some of them, but I don't know all of them, so you guys may need to do some research for own. But it's just because I never really had the experience using these utilities, but I may do in the future, and I will have to study them anyway, because I love studying computering. But yeah, I will show you guys some stuff that we can do within the kernel console, but we're not limited to that. There's many debugging tools that you guys can use in the kernel console. Okay, let's get started right now. So open up your virtual machine or on new real hardware, and make sure you have nightly build installed. Once I have it installed, all you need to do is go to the terminal and just type down kcon, or it can press on the F12 key and it should just start up the same way, as you guys can see. We are here now, and you guys may be wondering, how do I make it to list out all the commands that we can do within the system? All you do is type down help, like help me, to know what I can do. You guys can do many different debugging. For example, you guys can also call function. You can call function on each CPU. You guys can also continue, which takes it back to the user space, CPUs, which list out all the processors, describe specific command, hold for kernel, list supported commands, IPC, which is IPC information of a task, kill a task. You guys can also do fyscommand, which print physical memory configuration. You guys can also do a reboot. You guys can also do sysinformation, which should give you system information. You guys can also type down tasks, the list of tasks. You guys can also just type down threads, the list of the threads. You can also type down the TBL, which prints a TBL of the current CPU, which you guys can do if you wanted to, which I don't quite know what TBL basically means. I actually want to find out what that means. So TBL, CPU, whatever that. For TBL is a cache of a page table representing only a subset of a page table contents, referring to the physical memory address. A TBL may reside between the CPU and the CPU cache, between the CPU cache and primary storage media, or between levels of multi-level cache, and I guess it shows how it works. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I learned something new today, but I'll probably need to learn more about it. And let me just do that. That way I can get rid of this thing. You guys can also do scheduler, which shows scheduler information. You guys can also do zones, which list out all the memory zones. List kernel test or run a test, so we can run a kernel test if we want to test out the kernel. You guys can also do print bench, which does a printing benchmark to see if it can print out some characters. Yeah, and all this other additional stuff, which I don't know what they do. Okay, so I'll give you some examples of being able to use some of these commands. So for example, you guys can do the can do sysinfo, and that should show up some system information, just like so. Yep, that looks very good. Clock, we got KIO, we got system undefined, that's all fine. It's a bit more complicated though, so an average user may not understand this, but this is only for developers, so as a developer you probably would know what this basically means. So now we can type down help again. We guys can also do halt, which is basically I guess it used to like stop the kernel or to kill for kernel, so we can do that if we truly wanted to. I don't know why we want to do that, but you guys can do that if you truly wanted to. You guys can also do tasks, and now what tasks allows you to do is to see every task that the computer is doing. So for example, if I write down task, is it tasks? Yes, tasks. Okay, cool. So just type down task, it should show up all of the tasks that's running in the background. What I don't like is the way that we can't scroll up and down on the actual terminal. That's what I kind of find annoying with this operating system, because I can't see what number 1 is. So that's really annoying. Maybe if I change my resolution, maybe I can make it bigger, then that will make things a lot better to see, but it should allow me to scroll up and scroll down to see all of the available tasks that is running in the system. Okay. So guys can also do kill a task, and I can do, for example, I will kill the taskbar by doing 55, and that should kill the taskbar, as you guys can see. So we don't have a taskbar anymore. I think my system has froze. Wait, I'm back to the K console. Okay. What I will do, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna continue. Continue. Yes. And hopefully that does solve. Yeah. No, you need to do some drawings, but it does take a while for it to come out of the K console. I guess it's because I'm running inside a photo machine. But yeah, this basically is just used by developers to debug some errors, or to be able to kill some tasks, and to be able to debug any errors within the system. And it has many utilities. So for example, you can test out the kernel. You guys can see all the tasks that's running in the background. You guys can kill some of the tasks that's running in the background, and you guys can also see the system information. So it's basically a very advanced tool that is used by developers or by professional IT people to be able to see some additional information that would seem a little bit more complicated for an average user. And I don't know if it is going to kind of take me out of here. Will it take me out? No, I guess not. Yeah, so I can just do some drawings now. I will just gonna go and reboot, because it may not actually let me back in. Helen OS. Okay, we are back. So I'm going to click onto the F12 key. As you guys can see, it's pretty fast. And now if I type down help, then that should list out all of the tasks that you guys can do. So for example, if I do something like uptime, so that should show up all of the, let me see what it does again. It's very useful to type down help, because you can see what each command does. So uptime will show the system uptime. It should show up in like very low time that I have been using it. Basically, uptime can be used for Linux. It is used by FreeBSD to show up how long the system is running for. So for example, if we're running a server and want to see how long the server was running for, we'll just type down uptime, and we may see like 5,000 days or like 1 minute and all that, to see how long the system was running for in that current time. You guys can also do zones, which should list out all the memory zones, like so. So that's related to the RAM. You guys can also do test, which will test the kernel. because it does the kernel test. Let's run it. Okay, I guess it shows up all of the different types of kernel tests you can do. If I do the test atomic operations, MIPS 1 test, which is MIPS debugged test, write to null, maybe page fault, unsafe, frame allocator test 1, frame allocator test 2, mapping test. You guys can also do semaphore test 1, spring printf test. You can do numeric. Okay, so these are different commands that we can do with a test, I guess. What I'll do, I'm going to do a fault 1, kernel panic, on CPU 0 due to a bad memory access while storing to address. Okay, so basically I got a kernel panic. Dun dun dun. I'm just going to have to reboot. But I guess these are just tools to test out their actual kernel and stuff. And I guess because it had a word fault in it, it was supposed to crash. So yeah, kernel panic is basically like a blue screen of death, but for Linux and for Unix like systems majority of the time. So yeah. It's also used by Mac OS as well. If you guys ever face a kernel panic, it's basically like blue screen of death. Shouldn't take long to boot up. It normally takes like 5 seconds, unless if I truly messed up with the system. Yeah, we're able to boot back up. Just wait for it to finish loading, because I had a weird other glitch there. The entire screen was on black when I was on the K console. Can I move the mouse? Yes, I can. Here's the terminal. Now I'm going to click onto F12 again. Now we can type down help to see all the other commands. And if I write down test again, then I can see all of the other commands that you guys can do within the kernel. So I can run the let's do the mapping test, shall we? So I can do the test mapping 1, photo address mapped to physical address, photo address mapped to physical address, writing magic using the first photo address, reading magic using the second photo address, writing zeros using the second photo address, writing zeros, writing magic, writing zeros, reading 0. I'm using the first photo address, time, write cycles, kernel cycles, test passed. Yay! And you guys can also run all the tests by going over there and just putting down that multiplication sign. Something I like to call it though is the lucky star. And that should run all the tests. It may take a while. It's basically just running like a bunch of kernel tests. So yeah. Just doing a slab test right now. I have no idea how long it's going to take, so yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just restart the machine because it will take a while. By this I'll be able to test the kernel with all the testing features that it has by doing that start, which is pretty useful. I'll show you 2 more commands. We can do a reboot as well, which basically just reboots the computer. Yeah, it's reboot. You just type down reboot with like OK console, just reboot the system. And there's one more that I want to show you guys before I do end the video, because it is used as a debugging tool, and I showed you guys a couple of examples of what we can do with it, but you guys can do more research or play around with the K console just to see what each command does. So now I can type down help again, and the other one that I do want to show you guys is going to be describe. So describe will allow you to see what that command does and just describe how it works. So for example, if I write down describe the reboot. So reboot for system. What guys can also do, let me do a better example because everyone knows that reboot basically means to reboot for computer. If I guys do the one kernel test is one kernel test is benchmark. Let me do the TBL, which is what I got confused with. So print TBL of the current CPU. Oh, I see what this does. Okay, so okay, I see. So in order to actually describe will allow you to grab any application. I just noticed this. So basically, we just type down the command that I want. So for example, if I write down halt, all it does is just shows up what halt as well as the description of the actual of what it actually does. So it's halt the kernel. So yeah, this is all it does. It just grabs that information from over here from this row. So for example, for reboot, it shows up reboot system, but you guys can just do describe reboot, and it only shows up information about a reboot. So it won't show up all this other stuff that you guys don't want to read. So that's pretty useful. And you guys can also do for print bench, which does a printing benchmark. I think I showed you guys it. If I run it again, then as you guys can see, it does this, just printing stuff to the screen test. You guys can also do help, and you guys can also do reboot, and that should reboot the computer. Amazing. So if you guys like this video, please like and please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.